Good morning, everyone. I hope all are safe at home. Let us begin with our next topic in the second module of gas turbine technology course. So, today's topic is surface finish. We'll try to understand the meaning of surface finishing, why it is required, and how exactly we get this surface finishing for gas turbine components. So, surface finishing is nothing but a process that alters the surface of a manufactured components to achieve certain properties or to have an improved performance from that particular component. Now, why exactly it is required? Now, there are basically two major reasons. One is because of having a good surface finish, the performance of that particular component will improve. And second thing is, if you have a good surface finish, the life of that particular component will be longer. So to have a good life as well as performance, we need to give a good surface finish for any component used in gas turbine engine. Now, let us try to understand. Suppose if the spool which is used to connect a turbine and a compressor, if it doesn't have a good surface finish, in that particular case, the amount of work that has to be transferred from the turbine to the compressor will be less. Means the losses due to this mechanical transmission of work or a power will be more. So in that case, if it has a good surface finish, then the frictions are less, then the amount of power that has to be transferred from the turbine to the compressor will be more or will be close to 100%. Now, let us consider another example, that is turbine blades. If the turbine blades doesn't have a good surface finish, then the flow separation will be sooner. That means because of having a bad surface finish, the flow which is going around the turbine blades will get separated from the blades, which leads to more void, which means the amount of work that has to be extracted by the turbine is less. And because of this, the work that has to be transferred to the compressor will be relatively less, which in together will leads to less thrust. So this is the importance of surface finishing. Now, surface finishing, this particular process may employed to improve appearance, to improve adhesion properties, corrosion resistance properties, chemical resistance properties, wear resistance properties, to improve hardness, to modify electrical conductivity, to remove burrs and other surface flaws, and controls the surface friction. If you look at the images below, one person is applying some kind of a coating on a component which will give a good surface finish to improve the performance as well as life. Whereas on the second image, they have done some mechanical process, some machining process to give a good surface finish. So there are different processes. If you look at this particular slide, the chemical treatment is one of the method in which the component is dipped in a solution of sodium dichromate, nitric acid and water, which will give a good surface finish. Second one is electrochemical treatment in which aluminum oxides are used. Third one is a painting where a thin layer of resin or varnish coating are applied on that particular component, which will give a good surface finish. Fourth one is shoot pinning, which is again a mechanical process in which the component surface is stretched like a plastic, which will give a good surface finish. And last one, which we can use for a gas turbine components, are plating using cadmium, chromium, silver, nickel, and tin components. So these are the different methods which we can use to give a good surface finish, which in together help us to have a good performance as well as life of that particular component. So there are different examples here given. So let us try to understand this one here, a turbine blade in which the one blade which they have considered with uncoated nickel aluminum. If it is uncoated, then the life will goes down, as well as if you look at the right side image, the blade which will the life of the blade has reduced and it cannot be used further, which means the performance is reduced, meanwhile the life is also reduced. So to have a good reliability and durability also, we need to have a good surface finish. Now let us move to the next topic, that is a thermal shock resistance, which means the resistance of the material has to be there for the thermal shocks or sudden thermal loads. Now what exactly this thermal shock means? Thermal shock occurs when a thermal gradient causes different parts of an object to expand by different amount. Means when the same component is exposed to different thermal variation or thermal loads, means let us consider the turbine blade where the root of the blade is exposed to certain temperature, whereas the tip is exposed to some other temperature. Now due to this variation in the temperature, the expansion of that material will be proportional, means at the root the expansion will be proportional to that temperature, whereas at the tip the expansion will be proportional to that particular temperature. Now due to this, there will be differential expansion. If there is a differential expansion, then the stress induced in that particular component or the strain induced in that particular component will be varying. And if the value of stress due to this thermal expansion exceeds the strength of a material, then it leads to crack formation. And if crack propagates further, then the material will fail. So we need to understand here, when there is a certain amount of thermal load, it goes thermal expansion, and due to this thermal expansion the stresses are induced, and if the stresses are more than the strength of that particular component, then it leads to crack and further the failure of that particular component. Now what we need to take care for this particular issue is the material what we select. Now if the material has good resistance for certain kind of thermal loads or thermal shock, then it will have a good life as well as giving a certain better performance. So materials are selected based on thermal properties. If their poor thermal characteristics, then the material is rejected. Now apart from this, we can use some kind of a coating as well. Suppose we use certain material and externally we are giving a ceramic coating, then the amount of stress induced due in this particular component are relatively lesser than this strength, just because the ceramic doesn't have a good thermal expansion when it is exposed to higher temperature. Now this is one of the method. Now let us understand with one example here. Let us consider two materials. One is fine ceramic alumina, second one is aluminum. Now when we look at aluminum, the melting temperature is approximately 660 degrees Celsius, whereas for alumina it is 2000 degrees Celsius. Now when the aluminum is exposed to higher temperature, due to thermal expansion the stresses are induced, which leads to the stresses more than the strength and crack formation. Whereas the alumina, when it is exposed to similar level of temperature, then the temperature is much lesser than its melting point, then the thermal expansions are, which leads to stresses, are way lesser than the strength. So in this particular case, when you want to choose a material for higher temperature zone, then definitely it will be alumina, because the thermal expansion is lesser and the resistance for thermal shocks are more in alumina compared to aluminum. Now there are different examples here. Let us consider a turbine blade. If you look at the leading edge, see here the temperature is high. The maximum temperature we can see at the leading edge as well as the tip of a blade. Whereas when you look at the stresses, it is lesser, just because the material they have selected here, they have a good resistance for thermal shocks or thermal loads. Because of this, even though it is exposed to higher temperature, the stresses are way lesser than the strength of a material. So this point we need to remember here. The material plays a major role for thermal shock resistance, because if there is a load is more, then the thermal expansion is more. Due to thermal expansion, the stresses induced are more, and if the stresses are greater than the strength of that particular component, that leads to failure. I hope this is clear. If you have any doubts, please let me know. Thank you.